Hello, quilting friends, and happy Feature Friday, everybody. Thank y'all for joining me again in my sewing studio today. I appreciate y'all being here. I have a project in mind that I've been wanting to work on. I'd like to make myself a new top with long sleeves on it. I don't know if y'all know, but I do like to make myself clothes, not just quilts. And I haven't been able to find the fabric I like. So instead of continuing to search for fabric, I'm going to make my own fabric on my Longarm. And while we were in Houston, I met a lovely person who gave me good advice on how she makes fabric on her Longarm. So we're going to use her method and we're going to give it a go. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do to create some fabric so that I can make my own top. We are going to be using our butler today, and I've got a design that I purchased, so we're going to load that. We're going to get our design set up. I'm going to show you the method that we're going to try to get this stitched out, and hopefully we will have some success and I will be able to make myself a new top for the winter season. So we are actually going to start from our home screen here, and because I am only working with one layer of fabric, I'm going to set my quilting area from selvage to selvage of my fabric. So I have on here just a piece of white fabric because I want a nice crisp white blouse. But I want design work on it. So we are going to slide on over to the top left corner, and hidden back here, because I do have some stabilizer on here, hidden back here you can see my selvage edge. So I'm going to go to the top left corner, and just inside my selvage edge I will hit my safe area here, and then I'll come over and hit the safe area on the right just inside my selvage edge. And that is what we are going to be using for our table width and height today. And we've got a nice big box here to work with. Now, I said that I've got some stabilizer on top, and this is what my new friend suggested. This stabilizer is a wash away stabilizer. So I've got this on top, and I did baste it down so it doesn't shift on me when I'm stitching. But this is going to give me a little bit of stability to just my white fabric underneath, so that when we are stitching out with our Longarm, it's got a little bit more to grip onto, and my design should be stabilized here. I happen to be using, it is an aqua mesh embroidery stabilizer. I bought this online. I've never used this before, but I've been told by some friends who embroider that they use this and that it works well for them, so I'm going to give this a try. Now, I did purchase a design, so we're going to go to patterns, and we're going to import the design we want. So we're going to go to our import export tab, and I'm going to change the tag that it's going to go to so it won't go into our imported tag. We're going to put this in Aubrey's faves tag, just so I know where it is, because it's something I just bought for this particular project. So we will check mark here, and now it says Aubrey's faves. So it's going to go into my favorite file. And now we can import. I did already put my USB stick with the pattern that I purchased in the back of my display, so we can go ahead and import that file. I'm going to touch import file, and remember this is an external location because it's on that USB stick, and this particular pattern is called a little bubbly, and when you see it you'll know it is right on track with things that I love, and it's going to be perfect for something that I would like to wear. Once it's highlighted, it does come down here under file name, and I can come over to the right and touch open, and it says import finished, one item imported to the tag Aubrey's faves. So I can hit my check mark, and we can come up here to our patterns tab on the side, where we get all of our patterns like normal, but I am going to go into the tag Aubrey's faves, and we will look for a little bubbly right here. Remember, everything's always in alphabetical order, starting numerically, and then it goes alphabetically. So because it started with the letter A, it's right there. And of course, that is very typical of things that I like. You know, I love my swirls and bubbles. I'm going to hit my check mark, and we'll get one repeat of that into what we set as our safe area. And I'm using my safe area as my layout box as well. There's no reason why you have to set a safe area and a layout box if you don't want to, if you're quilting the whole thing that you set as your safe area. So today, my safe area is also my layout box. We're in edit, so we want to work with our little pattern here, and obviously we need to fill in our space with our new bubbly pattern. So I will go to repeat. When I highlight repeat, we're going to want some horizontal repeats, and I'm going to want a vertical repeat so I can fill this in. We get a nice solid design, and this will look the way I want for the fabric look of making this top. So I'm going to start with my horizontals and see what we get when we fill in. 4 gives me plenty with just a little bit of overhang, so that's not too bad. And then we'll give us a vertical as well. And that's what it looks like. Now we've got some space here in the middle that we're gonna need to close up because I don't want that gap. I want a nice continuous look to our pattern. So we're gonna come to spacing, and we want to adjust the vertical spacing. That's going to be the distance between the 2 rows. So I'm just going to take out a little bit of our vertical spacing. And as I do that, the rows move closer and closer together. And there we go. I think that looks pretty good. I'm afraid if I go any further, the rows might touch each other, and I don't want that. But that looks like nice continuous work there. So now I'm going to just go to my auto scale feature just to get this little bit that's hanging out back in. So we're going to go to auto scale, and I'm going to touch my auto scale feature. And there we go. Everything is inside the box on the right-hand side, on the bottom. Nothing's hanging out. And if we look real close, nothing is touching with our design rows from our first row to our second. So I think this looks pretty good. I'm happy with this. I think this is gonna make some really cute fabric for the blouse that I have in mind that I wanna make. And again, I'm using white fabric here. I've got my wash away stabilizer here, and for people who know me and see me dressed in the everyday world, I actually have black thread over here. I know I make very bright and vibrant colored quilts for you guys most of the time, but I am someone who does dress in black and white most of the time. So this is going to be black and white fabric that we're creating. I'm going to go up to my home button and engage our needle. And then we are going to get ourselves started. So we are going to hit our check mark because I've already double checked that our needle is not down in our fabric. We're going to hit our check mark and go to the start. It's going to move on over, and we are going to get stitching. Now this is going to take quite some time for us to get stitched through because this is a pretty dense design. We've got a lot of work to do, and it's going to do 2 rows at a time. So I'm going to get myself started, of course, and then we're going to have to come back after a little bit because I want you guys to see what this looks like stitched out. The other thing I want to make sure that I tell you what I'm doing to make this a little bit easier, I did overlap just a little bit between my 2 rows of stabilizer, and I'm using my scooping foot here, or my spoon foot, so that it can go over these rows of stabilizer without pulling one edge up. And hopefully that will give me some continuity and not cause any wrinkling in any of this so that my stabilizer stays in place. So hopefully I've done everything necessary to make this as easy as possible on myself while we're doing this process. That's It's looking super cute. And I don't know if I said this, but this pattern, A Little Bubbly, I did buy from So Shabby Quilting. Again, I really love the patterns from them. They do a great job, and I just thought this would be so cute on a blouse. I'm gonna let this stitch out and we'll be back. All right, my quilting friends, our 2 rows are stitched out and looking really pretty. I am happy with that and so excited about this project. Now that did take a while to stitch out. That is a lot of quilting there. So I have a lot to do. I am gonna nest this and keep on going. And then once it's done, this whole piece of fabric, and I think I have close to 3 yards here, is gonna end up in the washing machine. So all that stabilizer can get washed away. My fabric can get shrunk so that way when I make my top and I wear it and wash it, not going to continue to shrink on me. And so I've got a lot of work ahead of me. So I'm going to keep quilting this, and thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you guys real soon.